For a second day, writer E. Jean Carroll was on the stand in a New York courtroom in her civil trial against Donald Trump, alleging that he raped her inside a New York department store in the 1990s. Following her emotional testimony yesterday, where she recounted the alleged attack, today she faced a tough cross-examination from Trump's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, who tried to chip away at her credibility and compared almost every detail of what Carroll testified to her past accounts of the alleged rape, looking for inconsistencies. While Trump has denied the allegations, you likely won't hear it from him inside the courtroom. Today is the deadline for Trump's attorneys to let the judge know whether he will testify in person. And we're still waiting to hear that decision. Joining me now are Katie Phang, MSNBC legal analyst and host of the eponymous Katie Phang Show, and Adam Rees, NBC News producer and reporter who is inside the courtroom today. Adam, give us your recap. What did you see and hear? I've heard the testimony was pretty dramatic, the back and forth with Joe Tacopina and E. Jean Carroll.
It really was, Joy, but there really was no smoking gun, no bombshell. She kept to her story. She was really steadfast. Joe Tacopina tried to cut through, tried to get her on inconsistencies, whether she remembered the day, the date, the time of the alleged rape, how she may have changed her story from when she spoke to the Washington Post and the New York Times or Lawrence O'Donnell here at MSNBC. He just wasn't breaking through, and the judge was not having it. The judge was very upset. He was adamant that Mr. Tacopina was being repetitive and argumentative. There were numerous objections throughout the day. Almost all of them were upheld by the judge. It got very emotional when she got to the point where the alleged rape took place in the dressing room at Bergdorf Goodman. She said, "You can't keep attacking me because I didn't scream. I'm not a screamer. I didn't scream. He raped me whether I screamed or not," she said. She said it loudly. She was sobbing. It was a very emotional moment. And now this is consistent with most experts that alleged rape victims say that she didn't call the police. She didn't write about it in her diary, which she said she didn't want to be reminded of it all the time. She kept the dress. And in fact, the jury kept their eyes on her the whole time. The only time they looked down was when it got very graphic, the descriptions of what happened inside that dressing room.
Wow. That's what I was going to ask you, Adam, is where were people looking? Let me ask you this one little bit, and then I will ask Katie about the same thing. Tacopina, according to the notes that came from the courtroom, Tacopina tried to portray Ms. Carroll as man-hating, noting the premise of her book was that men were a nuisance. She corrected him and said, actually, the premise was that men should be rounded up and sent to Montana to be retrained. Tacopina pointed to the men in the courtroom and gestured even to the jury box. All those men, Carroll said she meant it satirically, at which point Kaplan, the judge, interrupted and said, "It comes from Jonathan Swift, a modest proposal 700 years ago," and she smiled. During moments like that, where Tacopina was trying to portray E. Jean Carroll as some sort of political activist or a man-hater, there are 6 men on that jury, right? 6 or 7 men on the jury. What was their sort of reaction to that kind of interchange?
There are 6 men and 3 women, and there was a lot of banter back and forth. It was fairly civil, but it did get pretty heated. And as I said, the judge was breaking in. But she did say, "I don't hate men. I actually love men." And there was some chuckles within the courtroom. But yes, the discourse was very combative at times, and the jury was picking up on it.
You know, and Katie, those who have seen Joe Tacopina on our friend Ari Melber's show, they know what he's like. Right? That's the personality that you're getting.
He's big and bombastic.
Bombastic. There's another one. Here's another one. Just the opening. So Tacopina comes in. He says good morning to Ms. Carroll, who doesn't respond. Then he says it again louder, per these notes. And when she responded in kind, he murmured, "There you go." It was a moment of condescension that pervaded his questioning, although his tone got gentler after that. Your thoughts on his demeanor?
Let's talk about strategy when you're a trial lawyer. Let's talk about having a female victim on the stand. How smart was it for Donald Trump's legal team to use a male lawyer to cross-examine?
Because there is a woman that's sitting with him, right?
There's Alina Habba.
Yeah.
Alina Habba could have done it. We don't know, right? Yeah. But putting aside competency, Joe Tacopina is a trial lawyer. So, I mean, I won't undercut that particular part of that, concept or strategy. But You know, whenever we were looking or whenever we were trying a case before, for me, you'd always want to say, how is this going to be perceived by the jury? Is it going to be looking like this victim is being re-victimized, which is exactly what happens when you're the victim of sexual assault. You get re-victimized when you have to tell the story over and over again to the police, or now to a jury, or to a judge, or even to the prosecutor, for example, if it's a criminal case, when they're preparing you for the trial. And so was it smart for Donald Trump's legal team to use big, I mean, and he's physically a big guy, Joe Tacopina, using a big male lawyer to cross-examine a woman when it comes to rape. Now, it wasn't like he was physically imposing upon her, but he clearly was trying to poke holes in her credibility and her testimony. But it wasn't working.
And the question of why didn't you scream just seems to me to be so offensive and sort of difficult. Are you surprised that the prosecution, or that, I'm sorry, that Carroll's lawyers didn't push harder to voir dire a jury that had more women on it? Because if there's 6 men, the presumption is that that's somewhat of an advantage for Trump. But I don't know that that necessarily is true.
And that is such a great question. So when you're doing jury selection, and cases are won and lost, by the way, civil or criminal in jury selection. And listen, I'll say this to you frankly, women can be more judgmental than men.
Interesting.
Women can judge women more harshly. Women can say, well, I wouldn't have dressed that way, or I wouldn't have gone into that room, that kind of thing. And so women sometimes can be more judgmental. But what I want to remind everybody who's tuning in, E. Jean Carroll just had to withstand, and she continues to withstand cross-examination. It's going over till Monday. Tomorrow's a recess, by the way. It's going to Monday. You have a woman who's in her late 70s, right? She's had to basically take her entire life, and it's become a microcosm of scrutiny globally, nationally, on audio and on video. And that's the other thing. We can't even actually see what's going on, right? Because you don't have a courtroom in there. And she's had to almost defend the entirety of her life in just those few minutes in court. And if you can withstand that, I invite anybody to have to go through that type of scrutiny. It is almost impossible to do. But she stood her ground, and she emphatically said, I was the victim of rape. And I've said this before, there's no one shoe fits all rape victim or response to rape. And so because she didn't scream, because she didn't call the police, because she didn't report it, because she didn't put it in a diary, doesn't mean it didn't happen. Yeah,
absolutely. And having interviewed her myself, I can tell you this is one strong lady. And if anyone can do this horrible, horrible thing that I think needs to be done as part of the Me Too movement, accountability is important. So Katie Phang, Adam Rees, the very best. Thank you both very much.